Mhm. Hello? Alright. Okay, so we are a go. Hello, everybody. We're starting off with Obst versus Suleiman. So, let's have a look-see at what they're running. We got Squirrel, Lizard, Pigeon, Cam, Badger, Wire. Okay, Squirrel, Falcon, Skunk, Cam, Fox, Wire. And I just realised there's no music. There we go. Sorry. I spent up to the last second trying to get the overlay to work. Unsuccessfully. And I have no idea why. It says 4-1 to the CPU. Where? I don't see it. Oh, Damel. Okay. I thought you were talking about this scoreboard thing that I was trying to get working. And it was fucking invisible for me. Anyway. Okay, so I'm interested to see how this game goes. This is intermediate level, but it is best of 7 still. For who is the best, the least intermediary of the intermediate group. Obst is a really old player who's just come back. And Suleiman is a relatively new player who I think this is like the first major tournament he's been in. I'm not quite sure. I know he wasn't in the old versus new tournament. I don't know if he was in any of the 21 series. But CPU one's coming in. And, oh, actually doing some decent work. There was about even numbers of squirrels. Okay. Hobbs comes in and gets a whole farm. Now, he is down in tech. Suleiman's managed to get up to skunks. Okay, so Obst isn't going to counterattack. Or maybe he is now. He's just killed the commander. Now's a good time for him to move in. And with mass squirrel and only 3 lizards, trying to get out tier 2, this is the right time to do it. Ob's really using this barbed wire though. Getting huge amounts down just to tank. And even though it doesn't really tank a lot, it takes like, each one takes 1 shot, so he survives like 2 volleys of squirrels, which gives him the edge he needs. And he actually wins that fight. Now he's able to get his chameleons out. This is looking really good for Obst. Now, oh, bad time for Suleiman to sell. If Obst comes in again. But this is good terrain to have skunks in. If Obst move in, he's moving all his units through this like 3-tile choke point. This is where Obst can Suleiman can really come back if he micros his skunks well. And so far so good. He's kept both alive. He's killed 1 chameleon. He did lose a squirrel warren, but that's not too bad. I mean, Obst lost a hell of a lot more there in raw food than Suleiman did. Okay, so now CPU, sorry, Obst, keep calling him CPU1, but it's Obst, has got this really forward mill. He's got no, well, he's got the barbed wire, but he's got no sort of balloons or machine guns or arty. Basically any other defense which can, you know, never mind. We're getting right into the fight, and Obst is winning handily. I think Suleiman's about to surrender. What went so wrong there? Suleiman had the better army. Was it just down to the wire tanking again? I don't think so, as the wire didn't get destroyed. What happened there? It must have been the lizards that swung it. Those tier 2 killer lizards. And just better micro in general. It seemed like the lizards weren't really able to stop. The chameleons for Suleiman weren't able to stop the lizards getting onto Suleiman's skunks. Now, Suleiman I think is pulling his units back too much. He's kiting too much and he's losing a lot of units in the retreat. You can't really kite lizards. They're too quick. He's desperately trying to get a mill set up, but there's no way Obst is going to let him. Yeah, and that's just... Obst was just winning every fight there. There was no way Suleiman was coming back from that. Even though the economies was actually fairly even, they just... the accumulative value was too big. And Obst takes game 1. Alright. Here we go again. Squirrel, lizard, pigeon, cam, badger, barbed wire from Obst. That's the same deck. Suleiman changing it up a bit. Squirrel, pigeon, falcon, skunk, badger, wire. He had chameleon and fox last time. I also think he didn't have the pigeons before. I think he's put in the pigeon badger for the cam fox. I'm not really sure why particularly. There was, I mean, the fox didn't really come into it, and the cams. You'd think he'd want the cams after what happened, where he got because cams will be better against lizards than anything else he's got. In fact, at the moment, Suleiman's deck is very vulnerable to lizards. Everything there could just be mass lizarded. I wonder what Suleiman's plan is. I mean, presumably he wants to get out Badger. This is a pretty standard deck. You know, you got the squirrels, which are just the most solid, versatile unit. Falcons for high DPS tier 2 with the skunks to complement them for good AoE and anti-tier 1. And then you've got the Badger just to give yourself some punch in the late game. You know, very flexible. On both sides, really. They're both going with, I think, what you'd call the average deck in the meta right now. Although I think Owl is more common these days than Badger. Anybody? What's up, everybody? I haven't had time to really talk about much since they've just gone straight into the games. This is all business tonight. from these two. But we've got these two doing a best of 7, and then we've got Jacoby versus Haru, which should be a pretty close match, I'm hoping for. Badger should be, well, like I said, since I've been seeing Owl a lot more, but if Owl is the meta, then Badger makes sense because it just absolutely demolishes Owl. So it's probably a bit of adjustment. If anything, I'm surprised to see that these two play so similar, because they're really kind of an old versus new split between them. Like, Suleiman's one of the newer players in the game who's, you know, at the competitive level, whereas Obs, I guess Obs is new in his own way, having just come out of retirement. Ooh, both players going for Badger at nearly the same times. But something I'm noticing is both players are really light on scouting. I mean, it could be partly because the front lines are so close to each other. Each one's worried that if they go in and lose their commander, the other will just attack while they're dead. Oh. And Suleiman doesn't see this. He sees it now. Is he going to have time to respond? No, that Badger's going down. Meanwhile, Ob's Badger is already building. The Warren's complete. Suleiman's in real trouble here. He needs to... I think he probably wants to attack right now. Okay, he managed to kill a chameleon on the retreat. Bursts through the barbed wire, gets one farm. There's just so many lizards though, and all this barbed wire going down isn't going to help. It's just more stuff that Suleiman has to shoot. Obs is using this barbed wire very effectively, and I'm wondering why Suleiman isn't trying to do the same thing, given that he's seen Obs doing it. I guess he couldn't there because it was in his territory. It was in Obs' territory. I mean, barbed wire has such little health while it's building. I didn't think it would happen. It would be so effective. But now Obs has a Badger. I honestly don't think the Badger even matters at this point, though. It's just the lizards. Suleiman has nothing in his deck that can stand up against mass lizards. Everything is relatively fragile. And that's 2-0 for Obs. And they're going straight back into it. There's no time to reflect, no time to think. It's just go, go, go. Suleiman going back to his original deck. Squirrel, Falcon, Skunk, Cam, Fox, Wire. Okay. If you're Suleiman, what do you start thinking about taking? I think perhaps you start going for greater numbers of chameleons. You maybe think about taking toads, perhaps moles, so that the barbed wire spam can't really get off. And you also have more tanky units. I think putting the cams back in his deck is a good call. The Fox is, you know, as good as the Badger. It really struggles against the lizards again. But, I mean, most tier 3s struggle against the lizards, you know, at least compared to most other units. Lizards are just really good at killing valuable units. They do a lot of damage very efficiently. Considering this is going to be the second time in a row, well, it just was the second time in a row, lizards really caused trouble for Suleiman. I'm surprised to see that he's not taken any toads. I know that the barbed wire tanking strat was considered by Eel. It's why barbed wire takes a few seconds if you click the sell button. But I mean, most people are just fine to lose a 10. Okay, so you do see Suleiman trying it out now. He starts putting down the barbed wire. I feel like this would be very vulnerable to moles. Moles do so well against barbed wire. Okay. So both players have expanded relatively quickly. Both put farms down. Obst lost that first engagement where he tries to attack in, but he is getting an extra farm. And now we see Chameleons coming out for Suleiman. I think it's right that he goes for Chameleons first of his tier 2. I think he could also probably wire up this sort of corner and then put a fox back here. As long as he's more switched on. I mean, last game, Suleiman lost a huge amount of value just by losing the Badger. I'm not sure if that was the game deciding moment though, because he attacked in and he lost the fight anyway pretty handily. I'm not sure if the Badger would have made a difference, but you know, it's with the tier 3 units, you can never really tell. Like, it comes down to how well it was played. I don't know how good Suleiman's Badger is. It's not something I see him play with a lot. Suleiman, there's a lot of content with Suleiman's playstyle because he uploads to a YouTube channel. Well, his YouTube channel, same name, Suleiman, I'm pretty sure, where he goes through tips and tricks and stuff for TNT. Pretty good if you're starting out of the game or if you just want more tooth and tail in your life, and who doesn't. So, you know, go give him a couple of views. But I mean, the thing I'm most know Suleiman for isn't foxes or badgers, it's ferrets. It's ferrets and artillery and machine guns and defensive structures and siege. This sort of straight up engagement isn't something I see from him a lot. Now, Obst, I barely know anything about as a player. But he seems to be much more comfortable with this straight up brawl type of build. You know, he knows when his timings are. We've seen him about 3 times now in each of his games try and look for an early attack. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Both players are scouting still very little. It's something that I'm sure is driving Blue Coon absolutely livid. Okay, so Obst hasn't scouted this tier 3, and Suleiman hasn't scouted this tier 2 or this tier 3. In fact, he's only scouted this mill relatively recently. I mean, he has scouted it though. Economies are even so far. Suleiman is very worried about getting chameleoned again, but he's got his fox now. And Obst's Badger is not here yet. However, a lot of tier 1 is out for Obst. He might not be too worried about the fox. And this kiting again is not really the best way to handle an army like this. He needs to just stand and fight. Now that he's killed all the lizards, his chameleons and skunk, singular, should be pretty good at clearing up the tier 1. And importantly, because that big fight happened before the Badger was finish constructing. The Badger is now supply blocked. Obs is on the back foot, and a Fox is a really good unit for keeping your opponent on the back foot, for not letting them get a foothold back into the game. As long as Suleiman babysits this Fox, he should be able to come back. And what's especially useful is that the barbed wire strategy doesn't work on it, because the Fox can't shoot structures, so it's not even going to try. Obs is pushing through with just a sheer weight of squirrels, and he actually evens up the farm count. So he's not out of this yet, but a well-microed Fox just constantly picking at Obs' army should secure this game for Suleiman. But the barbed wire is going to present a bit of a difficulty for that. And the problem with a Fox is that it doesn't take very long for the Fox to get caught out, especially when your opponent has 15 lizards. So this could go bad. This could go very badly for Suleiman if he mismicros his Fox once. Suleiman isn't selling, which is strange. I think selling the Falcons would be pretty useful. I think the Falcons are more of a... The Falcons don't really help against a mass tier 1 army. They're sort of weighing him down more than anything else. Oh, and this is going to be big. Ob's coming around. Sees the way in. He's going to get the mill. And that's so many farms gone. Okay, but Suleiman's got a lot of value there. It took quite a lot of lizards to make that happen. Suleiman has an army. He can move in. He can make this happen, but he has to go now. He gets a warren. He needs to get these lizards on the chameleons. Okay, he's got that. The lizards are down. He knocks out the chameleons quickly, which a Fox is good at doing. Now he can just get on the warrens before Obs can rebuild. I think as long as Suleiman keeps up the pressure, he should win from here. He needs to focus down these warrens though. Oh, maybe not at this point. Obs is down to just 10 units. He might have 8 farms, but as long as Suleiman doesn't give him time to rebuild all his warrens, Suleiman should be able to take this game. And he does. We're up to 2-1. Suleiman drawing some blood, getting at least one good hit in. Oh, Suleiman going back to the Badger build, cutting out the chameleons. Now, I feel like that's a curious decision. Maybe he expects Obs to change up his deck. Go for something that counters the Fox, like say an owl. But I think cutting the chameleons against someone who goes mass lizard and barbed wire is a strange decision. Cabin there, scoring a kill. Shall we do a bit of cabin review? Shall we steal Jet's idea? I mean, the cabin's here. This guy is clearly the most solitary sort, but I don't think this is a particularly good location, because look at all the crap that's around here. You're just surrounded by rocks and rubbish. It's like living in a dump. This guy, I mean, at least he's got the road, so he can get to the shops easily. But it's not much better. Very cramped. I suppose this one has a little more space around him, but not by a huge amount. Honestly, I gotta say, neither of these cabins seem particularly high value. I wouldn't want to live in either of them. Over here, this is where I'd put my cabin. It's close to the road, you got a fresh sort of source of water. It's out of the way, but you can still get to anywhere quickly because it's right next to the road, but it's not so close that traffic's going to be keeping you up at night. I think this is the best place. And you've got this little like back area for a garden if you want it. Alright. So far, neither player moving out. Just ecoing up. Tier 2 coming out from both players now. Solomon a bit behind in eco, but not by a lot. And that's mainly because he's decided to put down 80 food and barbed wire. Which I think if you're doing that, you could afford to sell one squirrel warren and then put that into economy. Instead he's selling some barbed wire, and that's going to be good. 30 food isn't enough for a whole farm by itself, but still not nothing. Okay. Both players equaling up really hard. I mean... Okay, so Obs has an easy 4 mills here. This mill and this mill are his. Nice and safe. Solomon has 3 mills very safely, and this one is also... I'd say this one is safe. He can take it. He can put down some barbed wire up here, around here, and it is slightly more vulnerable because it's going to be harder for his units to get over here because of the water. But it's not impossible to defend by any means. I think Obs does end up with a better map though. These 4 are just much tighter packed, easier to defend all of them at once. Plus he's got the campfire here he can take, and even this mill, if he's really stretched, is far easier for him to defend than... Well, for a start, he's got the option of a 5th mill, even if it's not a perfect 5th mill. But it's a pretty good 5th mill. Like, if you're on your 5th mill, you can't expect it to just be, you know, tucked away in a nice corner with one entry for you to defend. You have to expect that it's going to be a bit out of the way, and this is pretty not out of the way as out of the way goes. Okay, so both players going up to 3, but Ob's just way faster with his eco. And that's only half the story, because now both players are up to getting their badges out, nearly halfway done. Obs is scouting around, does see it, and sees the 3rd mill. Solomon has seen everything from Obs as well. He's seen most of these farms, apart from these 2 that have just gone down. He's seen the badger. So, scouting's really improved in this game. But I think Obs just having that extra economy is really going to help him. And he's just getting so much more tier 1 down. So many more lizards, so many more pigeons. Solomon's really far behind. Going up to 30 squirrels, though. That's quite a lot. Keeping low on the pigeon count. Which... I don't know. I can never tell whether at what point pigeons become a detriment and you're better off with more DPS. I think in really large armies like this, you probably want more than 6, though. Either way. I try to keep to a general rule of getting at least 9, so that my badger can, you know, get as healed as it can. It can have the maximum rate of healing. But that's just my opinion. I know other people go for 6 and then just put the rest into DPS. Ooh. Now this is a play I like. 2 badgers going down. That's the decision that the whole game turns on. Or maybe not, as now Obs is doing the same thing. I saw Obs get out, go for his 2 mils, and I thought he was just going to eco up. And you know, he's ecoed up a decent amount. But he's still going for an extra 2 badgers. Now, what has Suleiman seen? He hasn't seen this expansion or this expansion. The last thing he saw were these 8 farms and all the barbed wire down here. He can probably guess, though, that if he's going for 3 tier 3, your opponent probably has at least 2. Yeah, he's going for 2 at the same time, which takes him up to 3. By building these 2, he goes to 3 because he already has 1. I'm not miscounting, child. I can count to 3, even without using my fingers. I'm more than capable. Too much eco? Nah, you can never have enough. Or maybe you can, as Suleiman's coming in and Obs is still busy ecoing up. Army is slightly in Suleiman's favour. He needs to break through his barbed wire, but he's mainly done that. And his badgers now are pre-revved up. This is looking good for him. A 3rd badger comes out for Obs, but it's in completely the wrong position. Although Obs is whittling down these badgers, they're on very low health, but Suleiman manages to retreat. He pulls them back. And at some point, Suleiman went up to 24 pigeons. I completely missed that while I was arguing about 2s and 3s. Okay, Obs is trying to get out 2 badgers again. He's got 1 building. He kind of needs to... I don't know if he can really afford to not go for 2 badgers. He definitely needs at least 1. I think this is a mistake though, just letting these badgers rev up is going to make it harder when he has to commit. I think it might be better to just commit sooner, while they were still fighting on the barbed wire. And even though Obs is getting most of the rest of the army, these badgers are still up and still shooting. But there is a lot of tier 1 for Obs still. And if he can just keep these fights going, then his superior eco will win out in the end. However, these badgers, like having extra tier 3 that win, that survive at every fight, is sort of like an eco advantage. You know, you're building value over time. These badgers have so far got huge amounts of value. They've killed, I don't know how much food from Obs' army, and Obs only has 1 more farm at the moment. Which, okay, it just went to 4 as I said that, so commentator's curse. Okay, Obs, you need to commit in, you can't keep pulling your units back. He's letting these badgers get too much rev. But one of them does go down, finally. I think, yep. Obs loses his badger as well. He didn't need to send it forward. That was a miss micro on Ob's part. But he's got the eco to keep going. He's got another badger built. He's supply blocked on his other 2. I mean, he could just sell this badger warren and be building a 2nd badger. It feels weird to put down a 3rd badger warren when you're already supply blocked on your 2nd. Especially if you're not selling any tier 1. And he is really not selling any tier 1. He could at least sell this barbed wire. This is at least... This is what, 60 food? Okay, Ob's going in. Obs might be better off just going for Mass Lizard at this point. His Badger was so far back. And once again, Suleiman's Badgers got their rev up so much faster because his Badgers were... Suleiman is deciding when the fights happen, and Obs is trying to pull back from the fights rather than just commit to them, which means Suleiman's Badgers are able to rev up while Obs is retreating, which is not only bleeding out some of Obs' army, but it's making the Suleiman's army more powerful. This is his next chance. He needs to keep this Badger rev going. He's pulling back, but it's 2-on-1. And I think this is just too much. Too many Warrens have gone down. He does have another Badger coming. And it will be at full health. Or if it gets out. It does, but it needs to rev. If he can get these Badgers, then Obs can maybe snowball through. He kills both Badgers. He kills both Badgers and keeps his alive at 1 HP. He needs to not let it die. He needs to get it healed. He's still got the extra economy. Obs might be able to do that, although his farm's just fellowed out. He does have an extra mill, though. He should probably sell all this barbed wire. He's got 190 food in barbed wire on the map that is currently doing absolutely nothing. Suleiman is rebuilding his 2 Badgers. Is he going to sell down to get his second one up? He should be selling down to get his second one up, but people in this game just don't seem to like selling. I mean, finally Obs is selling his barbed wire, at the very least. What the hell is this stuff doing? I just noticed where the extra barbed wire was. Why is there barbed wire here? What purpose does it serve? He's protecting the cabin. Why? First of all, why would Suleiman ever attack this way? Second of all, even if he does, he'd have to go through the cabin. So you'd get a warning. Oh, look. Here we go. Suleiman. Like, what's the barbed wire doing here? What did that accomplish? Like, it wasn't far enough away to give him extra time. Okay, Obs is coming in, but his lizards got too far forward. His lizards were fighting the entire army without any support, and he already had a much smaller army. And this is gonna be taken by Suleiman. With some... After how many? 5 dead Badgers, I think? Suleiman evens the score up at 2-all. Now, Obs is still sticking with the same deck. He still hasn't changed. Whereas Suleiman, this is weird from Suleiman. Usually people, when they change the deck, they, you know, either make a couple of alterations or they go a completely different strategy. I've not seen anyone do what Suleiman's doing, which is alternating between 2 different decks. Like, it doesn't seem to matter whether he wins or loses with a deck. He immediately switches it up to plan B and then goes back to plan A and back again. Like, I'd worry it would make him predictable, but I mean, Obs only has a total of 7 games to catch on. And Obs seems pretty determined to stick with his deck no matter what. But I'm wondering why he's deciding to change. Because it's not a... Because people usually take the stance of if it isn't broke, don't fix it. Or, I want to throw my opponent off. He's not going to throw his opponent off by running the same deck that he's already run twice. But it's also not a... I need to make a big change because what I'm doing isn't working. Because what he was doing just worked. I can't pretend that I really get it, but it seems to be working out. And he clears up this fight really easily. Obs tries to push in with some lizards, but does it at a completely wrong angle and completely wrong numbers. I mean, Obs has so far to run, even with lizards. That's a long way to go. This is looking good for Suleiman. It's still only the first fight, but he's got both his chameleons up. He's going to take this forward mill that Obs tried to get set up. And he's going to be moving into lizards, which aren't that great at defending. Suleiman's had a really nice start here. Obs might be nervous, that might be nerves. He, you know, was lulled into a false sense of security by getting 2 easy wins, and then he took two losses, and now he's shaken. His confidence was built up only to be knocked down, but maybe this is a turnaround. Nope, nope, not a turnaround at all. I thought Suleiman's commander's gone down, maybe Obs can do something here, but nope. No, it worked. It went completely the other way. And now Obs is desperately trying to hold on. Building what barbed wire he can, but he doesn't have enough money to spam barbed wire. Although it does get up and actually do some damage. The barbed wire actually does end up turning the course of the fight. Oh, this is a bold move from Obs. He sold his lizard warrens and is trying to tech swap into squirrels. But Suleiman's really close by. He can scout it very easily. He did just scout it. But he's not pushing in. He might be worried about chameleons. He might be worried about the barbed wire. He might just think that there's no point in me pushing in. I'm ahead economically. I can just wait it out. Okay, Suleiman is pushing in now. And, you know, he did it before Obs had time to really rebuild. He should win from here as more and more warrens go down. This huge number of squirrels are right on Obs' main base. Alright. (3-2) to Suleiman. After a rocky start, he's more than brought it back and is now primed to win. Is Obs going to stay with his deck? Looks like it. I think Obs... This might be a mistake by Obs. I know a lot of people like sticking with what they're comfortable with, but... I mean, maybe Obs just hasn't practiced another deck. But I think what we're getting here is a real lesson in how important it can be to have a backup plan. Because Suleiman seems to have figured out how to play against Obs. And Obs, I mean, he could really throw Suleiman off by, I don't know, maybe trying some mole plays, maybe by getting out a boar or a wolf or some other tier 3. Maybe we're going with like a siege strategy or getting more defenses. What really lost Obs the game last time was the early push with the lizards, which Speaking of early pushes, he's now gone for 5 farm double squirrel. There is a very short rush distance. He might be able to make something happen here, but it's a bit of an all-in gamble. Oh, and Obs. He's taught Suleiman the spam barbed wire when you're being attacked trick. Oh, and Obs lets his commander go down. I mean, Obs is still not dead, but he is a farm behind, when a farm means an awful lot. He got some okay trades, units for units, but Suleiman is far enough ahead that he can put down a 3rd Warren. This could be bad for Obs. Okay. At least Obs is keeping on top of his scouting. Okay. So, Obs has had time to get up to 8 farms. Well, he's had time to put 8 farms down. He hasn't actually got up to them yet. And he's put down a tier 2 as well. If he could survive... I mean, he's sold a lot of units to make that happen. He's playing with fire here. But it looks like Suleiman's going for a rest of the map scout. So, this is going to get unscouted, and I think he'll get away with it. So that was a big catch-up play by Obs. A pretty well-timed sell. Oh, and Suleiman going for a pretty fast fox. I can see it. He is ahead, so he can probably defend. Plus the short distance. Okay. Obs definitely scouted that. Plus the short distance means if he tries to take the obvious mill, he'd be pushed up right against Obs, and he'd be in a pretty risky position. But okay, Fox is coming. This is Obs' chance to make a turnaround. Suleiman's put 180 food down into a warren that isn't doing anything. He then put 60 food into a mill that could have been useful for tanking, but he didn't fight. He didn't go in for the engagement when he had the mill up. Now, the Fox is building, and Obs' army is very injured, but it's getting in the water, it's getting some heals. It's actually going to be at nearly full health when it comes round. Destroys some barbed wire. The chameleons are on the front lines. Suleiman's holding his chameleons back, and I think that's a mistake. He didn't engage with his chameleons, and his chameleons couldn't do enough. Obs might have thrown by going for the Fox Warren rather than the chameleons. Now Suleiman's got a pretty hefty army advantage. If he comes straight in, then he could probably take him. And that's exactly what he's doing. Obs needs to pull back to the Warrens. Retreat to the Warrens. Hold there. Sell some Warrens so that you can build an army. He's not doing any of that stuff. But he is slowly whittling down Suleiman's forces. Oh my god, sell something, Obs. Why is no one in this game selling anything? Suleiman goes back and sells some tier 1. Finally, Obs does the same. I think, yeah, I agree. I think if he focused the cams, he could have gone for the Fox Warren after. In his defense, he didn't know when the Fox was about to spawn. But he could have. He saw it when it was building, so he would have a rough timing if he was keeping an eye on the clock. Plus, even if the fox did come up there, he had his entire army there ready to kill. So I think that was a throw, because now Suleiman's got a much bigger army and is just crushing these warrens. Oh, Obs, you had it. Okay, Obs made two big mistakes there. The first was trying to focus down the tier 3 warren instead of go for the units, because it's not like the tier 3 warren itself is shooting him. And the second one was when he retreated back to his warrens. Well, first of all, he didn't retreat back to his warrens. He tried to fight out in the open against a superior army, which made no sense, but whatever. When he did go back to the warrens, he refused to sell until after Suleiman had time to fight, destroy his units, run back to his own base, and then sell. Suleiman did all of that before Ob sold one warren. So, well done by Suleiman. Obs, I mean, the mistakes Obs made were obvious, but he did play pretty well, all things considered. Some good aggressive play that ended up not working out after Suleiman knew what to expect. But he did take those first two games really quickly. I guess it's just a matter of Suleiman got the download. Okay, so next we've got Jacoby versus Haru coming up. Another best of 7. I'm really annoyed that neither of the overlays worked. And I have no idea why. But it is what it is. Is it the order? I don't think it's the order. I don't know if that would matter. I mean, it doesn't matter where I put it in the order, so I doubt that's what it is. Anyway, here we go. Haru versus Jagunki, who is presumably Jacoby under a different name, given that he's got Jacoby's face and deck. Ah, GG Suleiman, well done. Congratulations. I expect you to have the video uploaded within the hour. Okay, here we go. So, Jacoby versus Haru. Best of 7. I don't know which way this is going to go. Although it's another bit of old versus new. Although Haru isn't that new anymore. And Jacoby, I don't think is even that old. As far as old players go. Okay, so Squirrel Pigeon, Mole Falcon, Skunk Badger against Squirrel Mole Falcon, Skunk Wolf Mine. Both of these players tend to have sort of one deck that they perfect. So I wouldn't expect... I'm already going to make the call that we won't be seeing too many deck changes. Haru is definitely... Yeah, 2019. He came in around the same time as this guy. Haru and this guy came in at about the same time. And I remember it because that's when my life in TNT got a whole lot harder. And Cholera, yeah. Okay, so I don't know which one of these two is favoured. I expect it to be close because both of them are pretty consistently ass-kicking. Jacoby won the old versus new tournament, and Haru won the much more recent 21 General Series. But both have consistently put in pretty high results wherever whatever they've entered. Jacoby coming in with some squirrel moles, and I mean he gets a Warren, but he loses so many more units. I don't know if it's worth it. Well, if it was really worth it, especially since Haru already had 60 food into a mill. He's able to eco up right off the bat, whereas Jacoby has to wait for his mill to build. I think Haru can consider that a win, but not by a huge amount. That's still pretty close. Jacoby just going right up. Okay, puts down 3 farms. He sold his Warrens, and I thought he was going to go for his tier 3, but he's actually just going for tier 2 and more tier 1. He's put it down in a bunch of sensible stuff rather than going for the big flashy badger play. And Jacoby has a very good badger. I think that Jacoby probably has the best badger in the game right now. And he has for a while. It's been his go-to unit. Basically as long as I can remember. So he's had a lot of practice with it. Haru hasn't scouted it yet. He's coming back for another look. Okay, he sees the badger. Now, Haru does have a lot of falcons, and a lot of falcons can just gun down a badger real quick. It's sort of what you want against a badger, it's just really fast DPS. You want to not give the badger a chance to rev up, and so you can take advantage of its relatively small health pool when compared to how much it costs, at the very least. The Mishi Badger, I mean, not specifically. I've definitely seen him run it, but I've seen Mishi run pretty much everything. Although I think Mishi used to do pigeonless badgers, which was quite unique. He used to just build a bunch of chameleons to tank for it. I think that was Mishi. And then he wouldn't take any pigeons at all. It would be like his deck would be, he would end up with something like 2 badgers and 12 chameleons, or something crazy like that. Okay, Jacoby's got the badger out. He's moving in. He's bringing his skunks forward first. I think he was trying to get the mines to blow up, but the mines only blow up now, which means they kill a lot of the tier 1. Jacoby really wants to stay alive, but Jacoby is slowly whittling down these falcons. Oh, I think he could have stayed in there actually. A lot of these falcons are at low HP. His badger was just starting to take damage. I think actually Jacoby could have stayed in, but It's pretty hard to say that from the ground. I mean, it's pretty hard to say that from up here, really. So, you know, I can't blame him for taking the safer option. But he is so far behind in economy that it might not be the safer option to try and take this longer. Because, like, the next time a fight happens now, Haru's going to be way further ahead in army. And unless it goes long enough for Jacoby to get all these farms up and get value out of them, and then put that value into army, then Jacoby's going to fall behind here. And Haru knows that. Haru's moving in. Oh, is he just moving up? I think if he scouts his second Badger Warren, then he's definitely going to attack. He hasn't scouted it yet, but he has to know that the food is being spent somewhere. And now he's... Yep. The defensive Badger is pretty strong because it can hide behind Warrens while it revs. But still, if Jacoby were to get attacked now, I don't think even he could hold it. He's got his second Badger building though, so Haru has to move in within the next 45 seconds, and it looks like he doesn't want to. Does he? It looks like he's going to now. Okay, here it comes. Army is hugely in Haru's favour. Falcons are starting to go down, but this Badger has nothing left to tank for it. More Falcons go down. Get this Badger behind some pigs. The second Badger's nearly out. Oh, what happened to the second Badger? Hang on, wait, what happened to it? Did it instantly get shot? I saw the second Badger building and then it suddenly wasn't. The Warren didn't get destroyed. Did it get killed and I just didn't notice? I was so focused on the first Badger, like seeing when it would go down. Supply block. It wasn't supply blocked though. It was building. It had like 10 seconds left. It was building. Don't try and gaslight me. Did no one see what happened to the second Badger? Oh god, I actually want to go check the fucking VOD to find out. No, the Warren didn't die. Did it? Sorry, I'm getting the VOD up because I need to know this for my own sanity. Hang on. No, wait. It just glitched. I swear to God, the Badger just glitched. It did! Holy fuck! I'm serious. Someone. Has nothing. Someone check that for me, because I feel like I'm going insane. Okay, in the current game, Haru has built up a bunch of lizards and a snake. So, very anti-badger. And is moving in. Jacoby's holding pretty well with just squirrel and mole, but he is getting whittled down. And now he's not got enough to kill the snake. Probably going to take some serious damage. Okay. Jacoby forces... Yeah, it did! I'm not insane. It completed and didn't spawn. Okay, Haru's coming in again. I feel like we've got to replay that first game. Sorry, I haven't casted anything in this game. But I did get sidetracked by that, but I feel like it was warranted. And Haru takes game 2? What? No, Haru surrenders? Why? Jacoby... I think Jacoby had a chance if another badger came up. So much of Haru's army was so injured. Just behind on Eco? I mean, yeah, but he still had a standing army. He was about to lose, but he hadn't lost. I mean, it's your tournament, Mochaccino, but... But, I don't know. I'm looking at what Haru had, and I think Jacoby could have made it. The Falcons were really low on health. The Falcons were... I mean, not one of them was above half health. And once the Falcons are gone, the rest of the army's trivial. And then it's a matter of counter-pushing, which the Badger possibly could have done. Possibly not. It had a long way to go, but I think there's enough uncertainty to, I don't know, warrant questioning. I mean, you could ask Jacoby if he thought he could come back. Let him know what happened. Anyway, I'll just focus on the present for now. Because that last game basically went completely uncasted. So let's talk about this one. We're seeing Jacoby sticking with his deck. Haru's gone back to his original deck, except he's traded out moles for lizards. Which I think makes sense. Lizards are pretty good against most of Jacoby's deck. They're certainly better against the Badger. Good against the Falcons, good against the Skunks. The best counter Jacoby has to them is probably the moles. And even that, with the mole nerfs, well, the nerfs to just their raw stats, that's possibly lizard favoured. Although it depends on the exact numbers, I think. I've been told lizards just win against moles, and sometimes they do. But I know for a fact that I've run lizards into moles and lost before, so I'm a little bit skeptical. But I'm always skeptical of anything involving moles, pretty much. Okay, so this is a rough map for Jacoby. His second expansion is all the way out here, and after that he's got nothing, whereas Haru, he takes this expansion and he gets 2 more for the trouble. So Jacoby's sort of doing a one base push in at the moment. Although he's got the deck for it. He's got this guy. And he takes it pretty substantially. The one problem is this mill is going to be upsetting all his reinforcements, but so far so good. He even gets a falcon, and oh, Jacoby's falcon stays up. So Jacoby can just keep this momentum going, especially if he pulls this skunk back and lets it heal into the pigeons, but nope. See, this guy would have pulled that back. But I don't think it matters as Jacoby takes game 3. Okay, so seems like we're having a break while Jacoby decides if he wants to redo the first game. Jacoby's definitely won 2 though. So for the time being, I mean, let's just look at the let's just look at what happened while we're waiting for that. Okay, so here you can see the badger is nearly complete. You can see both of the warrens are still up. This badger walks around. It's still alive, but that badger just doesn't build. It just starts building again. So I don't know what the hell happened there. But let's look at Jacoby's chances of winning, bringing this back. This is where the badger would have spawned. Now, it would have spawned in skunk gas and it would have had to rev up. But it's got 2 tanky warrens to hide behind, plus a mill. And all of these falcons are really injured. There's 1 falcon which is at a decent health pool. Everything else is below half. And this second badger is still alive. If that badger is able to hide behind the... If that first badger is able to hide behind the second, it can put out some damage as well. I think the glitch must have something to do with the gas being put down here. Because you can see, like, the gas moves onto the warren, and that's when it happens. I just don't know why that would happen, because this isn't the first time, surely, where gas has been put on a tier 3 one. Also, how did the gas get over here? Like, this is where the first badger dies, because there's gas hidden behind the mill. But how exactly did the gas spread from over here to over here, skipping all of this? It's like it's gone through the mill rather than, but it's supposed to go around it, isn't it? Or was it just put there? There's no gas there now. Okay, yeah, it was that skunk shot that gas over there at the pig. So this was looking pretty rough for Jacoby, I won't deny, but like it's an outside chance, but it's not so outside that it's impossible. I've seen badgers kill more than this. And once the badger is out... Now, so what happens... Say the badger does come out and it clears this up. There's still the matter of what happens next. But Haru doesn't have a lot of tier 1 warrants, so... Jacoby's badger is going to get over here. It's going to at least destroy this mill. And then it's down to 5v9 on farms with tier 3. It depends how much health the badger had left, because it might need to wait here and heal, but there would be at least one pigeon, I think, ready to help it. Well, Haru is still favoured to win. It's just, like, how much of a chance does Jacoby need before you say that the game has to be played? Is it a 1% chance? Is it a 10% chance? Is it a 20, 30, 40? Like, at what point is there enough of a chance for Jacoby to come back that you give him the chance to replay? I don't know if it would just kill it. The badger can hide in these warrens and tank a lot of damage for it. Plus, all of these falcons are at really low HP. Like, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 falcons. They're all at below half HP. The skunks and the squirrels aren't going to do anything to it. I mean, the squirrels might. But once the falcons are the only real threat. The skunks tank the damage if the skunks are in front, but that's not guaranteed. I mean, I'm willing to go... I disagree that the falcons would actually kill the badger here. I think the badger has a perfectly good chance of killing these. I think it's what happens next That's the problem. Because I think Haru has 4 farms extra. But the thing is, you're guessing, like, does Jacoby take extra damage after this? Does he lose an extra farm or 2? How much damage does the Badger take? I think the Badger takes a lot of damage, but does clear this up. And then it has to heal. Which means Haru's got enough time to go back, sell, and build up another army. The problem where I feel... The thing where I feel iffy is that... I mean, Jacoby can sell a Badger Warren and put down a bunch of tier 1. He can kill this mill even if his Badger's injured, probably. Or at the very least get the farms. And then, by the time Haru comes in again, because Haru's army is mainly tier 2, so it's going to take Haru about 40 seconds to rebuild before he's ready for another push. And that's time for Jacoby to get up more squirrels and more pigeons, give the Badger some support, and then a well-mic'd Badger can beat the next army. So I think Jacoby has a perfectly legitimate chance of this. No, it'd be more than that. He'd sell one of the Badger Warrens, he'd get 180 food just from that. He's still got 5 farms, which isn't a terrible, which, you know, is bad, but it's not abysmal. And what would he be up against? Like, how much would Haru sell? And how much would he need? And that's assuming perfect play from both sides. Besides, Jacoby's already nearly got 180. So he'd have nearly 360 food. He'd slam down like an extra 5 or 6 tier 1 Warrens. Haru would have to sell most of his tier 2. Okay, well, what's the situation when the Badger would have come out? Okay, the Badger wasn't quite built, so it would be... I think the Badger would come out about here. The Badger had like an extra few seconds on it. I think the Badger comes out about here. And, you know, pausing it on that makes me even more convinced, because this is a terrible position for Haru to be facing the Badger in. He's facing away from it, and he's got his tankiest units at the back. I absolutely think a Badger beats this. I think a Badger beats this pretty handily, actually. I can't even tell if there's any... There's only 1 squirrel here, so it's 3 skunks. 1, 2, 3, 4 falcons. One of which has health. I mean, the Badger comes out, takes some damage in the gas, but guns down this skunk and this falcon quickly. Haru turns around to shoot at that Badger. This Badger comes round. I think might still die in the gas. But no, because Jacoby would probably be coming round here then to try and micro this one. I don't know, because what does Jacoby do differently with his micro? This badger probably dies no matter what. But Jacoby is really good at badger, and I mean, how much of a chance do you have to say it's of a comeback? I definitely think a comeback is possible. I don't think Harry wins this for sure. But what percentage do you put on Jacoby's chance? And how big does that percentage have to be before the win is illegitimate? Well, exactly. How likely, and how likely does it need to be? A comeback is definitely possible here, and I don't think it's negligent. I don't think it's insignificant. Harry with double the farms, but he'd be losing a lot of tempo. And I think he'd lose at least 2 of those farms. The badger, I think, would be able to clear these up and still kill this mill here. Or at very least the farms on it. So it's going to be 5 against 7. And I think if Jacoby's even got a 20% chance of coming back, a 1 in 5 chance, I think you have to replay the game. Well, maybe, but Jacoby might lose extra farms as well. But you're getting into a lot of speculation. I think the fact that there's so much you can speculate on this is proof enough that it's not a certain victory. But the DPS drops so quickly in Harry's army. If these Falcons were at full health, I'd say that Badger loses, but it's really significant that these Falcons... Like, some of these Falcons are going to die in less than a second. The skunks are barely ever going to kill the badger. Unless the badger's in like single digit health, the skunks aren't killing it. I mean, Marmu's making a joke, but we haven't even factored in like the pigs shooting at this. I don't think that does actually matter, but it might. Pig shooting has changed some games. I think there's so many variables here that I think there's enough leeway for Jacoby to have this as a possibility. But now I feel kind of awkward for... I'll be honest, I feel kind of awkward for bringing this up. Because, it's really gone off the rails, but... I mean, we want a fair competition, right? I don't think we had a... Especially because it's a glitch. Like, if Jacoby was to DC right now, I'd say, yeah, give it to Harry. Even if Harry were to DC, I'd probably say... I might even consider saying give it to Haru. Or I'd say that Jacoby would be sportsmanlike to give the win to Haru, but could completely legitimately claim. The fact that it's because of a glitch, like, that really bothers me. Wait, hang on. Did I just hear that right? Okay, that was a joke. I just saw Delcia say I must not have noticed, that's it, and I was like, I'm sorry, has someone seriously not cottoned on to what we've been talking about for the last 10 bloody minutes? I was legitimately angry. Because I've got, my chat is like, on my laptop it's like halved in size, so if people are talking a lot, then it's pretty easy for me to miss stuff. And I genuinely thought Delphius was being absolutely retarded. No, that's not normal speed. I don't know what to do now. Okay, yeah. That one badger took down so many falcons. This started at 10 falcons with 4 skunks. The badger kills 1 skunk, brings it down to 4 and 6 falcons. But you're telling me that this one couldn't? Admittedly, this badger was at full rev at the time. Now I think that's the biggest thing working against this badger. But what this badger has working for it is that all of these units are at really low HP. And it's got these 2 warrens that it can tank from. Plus, I don't think 4 falcons would gun down a badger that quickly. 4 falcons probably needs like a couple of revs. A couple of revs to get it. Plus, focus firing a badger when it's going to be in these warrens and when it's going to be moving isn't going to be that easy. And he wasn't in position to do it. Like, when the badger came... Like, the badger's got about 5 seconds left here. So it's coming out when Haru's over here. When all the weakest units are right in front of it. Haru's a good player, but he's not a flawless player. And 4 falcons, I don't think 4 falcons do burst down a badger that quickly. Especially when you consider they'd almost instantly be down to 3. Like, I've gone into 4 falcons with a badger before. Like, it doesn't happen. You can definitely beat 4 falcons with a badger. $20 damage instantly. Yeah, but the badger has, what, 60 health? No, less, 40? I mean, that takes at least 1 or 2 volleys. Plus, that's assuming all the damage goes into it. Haru isn't in position to focus fire, and it's got the warren to tank behind. But the skunks can't move forward. The skunks are going to take... By the time the skunks move forward, this falcon and this skunk are already dead, for sure. These are probably this one's probably following suit. I think a well-measured micro badger definitely beats this army. That's not the question I'm really concerned with. It's what happens next. It's does the badger beat this by enough that Jacoby can come back into the game? I think a badger definitely beats this. Yes, we are still going on about that one glitch child. Admittedly, we're still waiting for Mochaccino to give us an answer on whether or not the game's being replayed. I will admit, I do have a badger bias, but I stand by it. I think a badger beats this. What was this? Okay, well those are my tabs if anyone's interested. I mean, on the one hand, we've just been watching these same, like, what, 30 seconds for the last 20 minutes? On the other hand, this has probably been the most interesting 30 seconds of TNT I've ever seen. I feel like we've taken all this time to actually fully go through all the minutiae of it. I think at the very least this has been a very stimulating conversation. But man, thank God for the caster, right? Because none of you spotted it. I legitimately thought I was going insane. I had a bunch of people telling me that it never built, that the Warren was destroyed. I got full on gaslighted. Is there a loop? Okay, let's look at how the badger did at the beginning. Then if this is the debate. But you still haven't started shooting. I wonder, I genuinely think Jacoby could have beaten that. I wonder how different this game would have been if he just stayed there. I wonder if he would have won. Bring up the army girl. I mean, shit, I don't even have the replay, so I can't do that. But I don't think it would tell us too much. There's the army graph. There's the army graph on. Just did it for you. Because if I turn on autosave, then I just get so many replays. Like 80% of which are just, we played a game, we got up to tier 2, then we attacked, and then I lost. Apparently I've just been sent. Okay. Let's turn that off before I accidentally show something I'm not supposed to. Oh god, it's one of these. It's as an XML. How do you do that? You just drag and drop, don't you? Nope, that didn't work. Okay, I know I've done this before. Okay, when you've got a replay like this, how do you move them over? Because that's not right. I'm pretty sure that symbol means it's not right. But if I download it, it's just this. I know I've done this before, but I cannot remember how. And I had to be told. Oh, I think I just did it. Well, thank you for telling me anyway. Okay, so do we just want to skip to the juicy part? Or do we actually want to watch the whole thing? Remember, we can't rewind in replays for some reason. So, if we want to go back and check any part of this, we're going to have to go through the thing all over again. You mean speed 1? Because that's the slowest speed. You can't even do half. I can stream it. I can stream it, then play back the VOD at half speed. That could work. So if you keep tapping back, you can do frame by frame. How fast can I do frame by frame? Not very fast. Okay, I think there's actually some stuff we might want to check out here. Like, the Badger starts shooting here. I think this amount of units is probably equivalent to the Warrens that Jacoby had to work with. And it's a roughly even army from Haru. I don't know, does that tell us anything? Pretty sure this is where the army graph came up. I don't know what this army graph really tells us. The first game is invalidated. Alright. I hope Haru understands that. So that's 2-0 to Jacoby. But let's give this one last look. Just for old time's sake. With the army graph up. Okay, so the Badger is going to glitch. Now. But the Badger wasn't fully built, so I think we go a bit beyond. I think the Badger comes out about here where Haru's starting to turn around. I think it comes out at the earliest here and at the latest here. So this is going to go down as the most controversial TNT moment in history, I think. I don't think we've ever had a moment that took quite so long as this. If this was a bigger game, this would be blowing up all over Twitter. There'd be outrage on both sides. But it isn't. So there's not. I hope Haru understands. I hope he's not too mad about that. I gotta be honest. If I beat Jacoby and then got told, no, it don't count because of a glitch in the last 5 seconds, I would be pretty mad. But I think there's enough. My basic argument is that there's enough uncertainty there that the game is worth replaying. Ooh. Hang on. I can see the overlay. I'm messing around with it. I'm trying to figure out a resolution that works. But I can't seem to make it any bigger. It's also in the wrong place. But it's progress. We're getting there. Okay. If I do original source, then it doesn't work. Then it just disappears. If I put on custom, it's there. That only goes up to 10,000. And it just gets... the box gets bigger. Do I need to make it smaller? Is that what I need to do? Oh, fuck off, Discord. No, not you. No, that's not working. That hasn't worked at all. Oh, it's not OBS, it's XSplit. But alright. Anyone want to tell me how this works? Go ahead. Because I think Haru... oh dear. Like, this only goes up to 10,000. Oh, does it not? If I just keep on adding zeros... Why does it say 720 by 720 still? They score 2-0 to Jacoby. Okay. Do you want to do QQ and Kolaru? Or not? I'm guessing Haru might have been a bit upset. We're trying to figure out how to do an overlay. Because look, that's the overlay up there. If I put it on original resolution, it disappears completely. If I put it on custom, it appears, but it's fucking tiny. There it is, that little smudge of colour. I'm pretty sure this maxes out at 10,000. No one's heard of XSplit. XSplit and Stream Elements. That's all I'm using. $920, $1080. $1920. I mean, that's bigger. Did we just do it? That's readable. Nice. Now, unfortunately, it's irrelevant. But maybe... I don't think I can set up one. For... QQ and Collaroo. Okay. Well, that's not it. Okay, you know what we're going to do? I have no idea how we even change this as well, so... Yeah, I have no idea how to update that. But it's there. So, QQ can be Jacoby and Collaroo can be Haru. And we'll just use this while I try and figure out how to actually change the score on it. The password is champ. Did someone seriously follow us during this whole batshit crazy? Yeah, ex-Zenol, 20 hours ago. No, that was 20 hours ago, not 20 minutes. Never mind. Like, do I just have to completely change the overlay? Like, change the image? Or do I put text boxes on, which I can change, maybe? Oh, now you send me a real one. That's not fair. Wait, is it best of 5 or best of 7? We still not have QQ, by the way. Oh, this is for relegation. Okay. Are we gonna do this? Wait, it's already there. How did that happen? Whatever. The point is, it's there. Now where the fuck is QQ? If I've had time to set this up while he's been gone, and he's been gone too long. It's bothering me that this text isn't centered. I have no idea how to make it centered. Okay, the center is... So let's try... .903 and... No, not that. That's... 9... Bit more than 900. 905, 905, and that's too far left. That'll do. Then this one needs to be... $910. No, 9. Yeah, it needs to be the same. 905, 900. So this needs to be 905. The middle's 938, so this needs to be... That's about 23. So this needs to be 41, 61. No, 62. Well, that's not right. Yeah, 905, 900. Why the fuck is this one up there? God damn it. Like, is the game going to start soon? There's only so long I can piss around with this. This is rapidly becoming the watch Tosh try to line up 2 zeros stream. And I still can't fucking do it. But that's gonna have to fucking do. Sorry if you've got OCD. Believe me, I get it. It fucking hurts to look at. Good night, Zon. Good night, everyone else who... I'll be honest, I'm amazed there's anyone still here. Because I think we spent like... I don't know, at least we spent close to an hour doing fuck all. It feels like. But here we are. Colaru versus QQ. Game for relegation. Who's the worst of the best? Colaru is going with Squirrel Pigeon, Ferret, Cam, Snake Boar against QQ's QQ deck. Lizard Ferret, Boar Fox, Wire Balloon. Oh god, sorry. I thought I muted it when I blew my nose. So apologies everyone who just heard that. Alright, Colaru going with some real aggression here. I don't think building the pigeons is necessary at this small numbers, but... Ooh, he fakes out. I was about to say it could actually work. The road means that there's a quick rush distance. And if QQ's only got lizards, and they're not great at defending, but at this small... especially at these small numbers. But QQ barbed wire up. and now has enough lizards to actually take these squirrels out in the open. And that's a big loss this early in the game. That's 80 food. Plus the 30 from the meal. Well, 27. So that's 107 food within the first 2 minutes, which is a big deal. That's going to let QQ set up pretty significantly. I've played this deck QQ's running, and I feel like getting a win early in the game is quite a big deal. It's quite a hard deck to come back with. But if you can get set up, you can get some barbed wire down in a good position, cut off the map. Because that's what you need to do. You need to cut off the map with it. And QQ's got a good map to do it on now. Because he can set up barbed wire here with balloons, and then Colliery won't be able to expand at all. And QQ hasn't had to go far out his way to do this. He's taking basically his natural mill. And now Colliery can't take his natural. He can't take any of these back ones because they're so close to QQ. This is nearly a perfect map for QQ. Now he's got the ferrets. Start sieging down. Colliery's coming out with his chameleons, which will do well against this deck while there are no balloons. Colliery there was trying to do ferret dancing with the chameleons and lost a warren for it. He loses another one. This is looking bad for Colliery. He's going to lose a second. He's got his own ferrets out now, but they're not going to do much against all these lizards. He's got a snake as well, but he's already losing 3 farms. The snake's going to go down, or is it not? No, the snake is staying up for now. But holy crap, that's a lot of farm damage. Colliery is in starvation. I think it's unlikely he wins this. Yep, QQ's just sending more and more lizards up. He does not need to trade well at this point. And that's going to be 1-0. Oh, God. You know, all things considered, I am glad we got the overlay sorted out. It was bloody torture, but we did it. Alright, Squirrel Pigeon, Ferret Cam Snake Boar again from Colliery, Toad Pigeon, Snake Badger, Wolf Mine from QQ. Did he random this deck? What is his plan with Pigeon Toad? He did not random. I mean, that's some staggering confidence. I guess his plan is to just Snake Rush with Toads to defend against Mass Tier 1 until he can get up to Tier 3s. That's the only thing I can think of. Because it's not like QQ to just completely fuck around. I think this is an actual strategy. Okay, so, yeah, like I said, he is going for, like I predicted, he's going for some quick snakes. The QQ going for some quick snakes, some quick chameleons, and some quick squirrels. Well, I guess they're actually some normally paced squirrels at this point. Hmm. I did update the score. What? Why didn't that update? It was updating when I moved it around. Oh, for fuck's sake. Why isn't it updating? For fuck's sake, why? Oh, did it. Oh, this is a ballsy mill from Collaroo. He loses one farm, he's going to lose the mill itself. Now, when does QQ start going for his tier 3? Collaroo going for more farms. Well, going for 3. Who's winning in army at the moment? It's pretty even. Pretty even in economy. Quite a I mean, it depends how good QQ's toad connections are, but at the moment they should be fairly good. Collaroo doesn't have much to really buffer for them. They come in, they're quite good connections, and now it's just snake v snake. Collaroo's actually losing extra units by retreating here. He needs to just spread out this micro. Okay, now the commander goes down for QQ, which is pretty significant because it means these snakes are able to kill all of QQs without any of them dying. I thought at least one of those snakes would die. But no, they're all fine. Does QQ even go for a tier 3? I think he goes for a wolf maybe, not a badger. Not against this many snakes. He's trying to get more and more forward mines. He's playing this a lot like a ferret deck. Okay, toads all go straight into the chameleons. Don't even kill it. And now, QQ's getting out-snaked completely. Can I change the colour? Why can't I change the colour? Oh, I can. But I just don't know how. Whatever. Okay, more toads. Blow up for QQ without accomplishing much. He's steadily falling behind in economy. Collaroo is steadily pushing over. Like, these toads just aren't actually doing enough. There was actually a chance this deck could work, I think, from QQ, but without any proper tier 1, it's so hard. He really needs those toads to get good hits, and because Kolaru is so light on the tier 1, he probably would have been better off just going for extra snakes. But either way, he didn't. And so Kolaru takes the game, and we're back to an even match. Now, was that going to update? Do I have to click save? What is it that makes it update? Okay, it just did it. Alright. Kolaru, Squirrel Toad, Mole, Snake, Owl Arty against Squirrel, Owl Fox, Wire, Machine Gun, Balloon. These are some interesting decks. I mean, this is sort of the deck I'd expect. I mean, neither of these decks are actually that off the wall. The Arty is unusual, but it's Kolaru, he's famous for it, and it fits perfectly well with what he's got. It's one defensive structure with a bunch of solid, versatile units. QQ, the 3 defenses, Owl Fox, I mean, it's something he's been running with snakes before, so it's not that unusual to see him without the snakes. It's something I've been running myself, except with artillery rather than barbed wire. Well, it's similar to stuff I've run. I've run Wolf. I usually take Wolf with my triple defense deck as one of my tier 3s. But I think it's pretty legitimate to take Owl Fox. I usually take Wolf with either Owl or Fox, with varying degrees of success. So we'll see if QQ can make it work. He's got at least 1 base. He's got 2, kind of, because he can defend up here pretty easily. It's unfortunately a bit more open over here. I think he can build on this hill. It depends how much territory he gets from this. It also depends if he gets mold or not, because moles are very good at destroying triple defense decks. He's going straight for the owl. That's a really big investment. This machine gun takes out a lot of moles, but does finally go down. And I think QQ really probably would have been better off building squirrels rather than an owl one. I'm puzzled by his logic there. Oh, see, now he sells the owl. And there's more moles coming out. Can QQ get this? Oh, just. This one mole out in the head. You know what would have stopped that? Some squirrels. And we're at 2-1. Kolaru only needs to win 1 more game. Now, will this save for me, please? Will this update? Scoreboard? Update? Maybe? Ah, same decks from both players. Hey, it finally updated. I can't tell if there's just a lag on that or if there's something I need to do. Okay. I mean, Jacoby definitely could have held that. He he spent 40 seconds building an owl warren. He could have just put down 2 squirrel warrens. He could have had 6 squirrels and held off the moles easily. Maybe QQ wants to play intermediate next season. I don't know. Am I still hung up on the glitch? What gave that away? What? I'm lost. Also, why are you talking to Jacoby, Blue Coon? Did I say Jacoby? It's probably because he's playing Archimedes. He's in yellow. I genuinely didn't notice. Now this is an interesting development. Also, he's got a second one, apparently. And okay, no, he sold it. Okay, so Quick Owl defended by an arty cannon, which I think might have been the first unit he put down. God, can you imagine if QQ had moles? Just put a mole warrant there in the corner, and then this arty cannon just has to wait impotently while the owl warrant gets destroyed. Although the arty is immediately sold. Now QQ has gone straight up to 16 farms and put down his own owl warren. I'm not really sure where this game's going. I think QQ wins. I think having the better economy is the way to go. I think he's got enough time and enough defences that he can hold off the owl until he gets his own, and then he can overtake. Wow. 4 owls with 3 squirrels. Okay. Collaroo has his owl out. If he attacks now, QQ is fucked. He's got 6 pieces of barbed wire and 3 squirrels. But, okay. His owl is out now as well. And luckily the mice are stupid and attack the cabin, which wasn't hurting anyone. Okay, so we're stuck in an owl v owl game. I think QQ wins simply because he's got more mills he can take. And with the defences, he can hold on to those mills easier. He's still got a huge economy. Jacoby beat Haru 2-0 in a strange turn of events. Jacoby versus Haru will continue tomorrow, according to Mochaccino. If I had to guess, Haru was probably not in the mood to continue playing after being told his win was disallowed. Haru never came back. Well, hopefully he will. Hopefully he'll come back tomorrow. Well, I feel bad for mentioning it a bit, but I would have also felt, I think I would have felt worse for not mentioning it. Okay, here we go. Coloru is definitely losing here. QQ's just got more owls. He's got more squirrels to back it up. He's got more farms to resupply. The first owl goes down for Coloru. And that's the beginning of the end. And we are going to game 5. Final destination. Will they go fox only? Coloru's straight up randoming. Okay, so squirrel pigeon, ferret, snake fox mine against lizard, ferret, boar fox, wire balloon. So the deck we saw QQ use in the first game. They both do have foxes, so they might go fox only, but it's doubtful. It would be awesome. More tournaments should be decided by Fox v Fox. You know what? I kind of want to run a tournament now where you're only allowed to pick one unit. Like Gentleman did one a while ago where it was you take one unit in the first game, 2 in the second, and 3 in the third. I'd kind of want to do something like that again. I couldn't do it for a while though. Not only do I need this tournament to finish, but I've got like a lot of shit going on for the next month. Everyone will play Squirrel. No, because if everyone playing Squirrel, then you just play Cams. Or lizards, or skunk. Like, because every unit in the game is countered by something else, I don't think anyone would just run a unit. You distill the game into that counter pick. That I think is a really good part of it. Because I remember when I was doing it, my first game, everyone assumed everyone else would take squirrels. So, everyone just took chameleons instead. Oh! Coloru's commander goes down, leaving his army completely exposed, including his valuable ferrets, both of which are going to die. It's a big loss for QQ. Sorry, Coloru. Why does Coloru have mines over here? Are they helping? I don't feel like they're helping. Maybe the fox will help. These mines look like they're helping. Although, the ferret will probably just destroy them. Because ferret shots can hit mines. So, Coloru is trying to ferret dance with mines. He's only got 9 lizards, 9 squirrels at the moment. And now only 7 farms. No, 6! He's got his fox building, but there is a small matter of this balloon. And the much larger matter of 24 lizards. Also, Colorado might just lose this meal before the fox comes out. These ferrets are just hitting away at it. He doesn't even have enough food to take another meal. So he's got to engage. Come on, we want to see the fox come out. But the mill goes down just as the fox comes out. Just in time. I mean, I wonder if Colorado could have turned that around. You could see on the graph the army value was really evening up. The economic difference was huge, but if there's any unit that can overcome that, it's the owl. But fox is a close second. And Colorado gets relegated. Unfortunate, but it had to happen to someone. Alright. It's best of 5. QQ. So, I do believe that's everything for tonight. Unless Mochaccino wants to tell me otherwise. It was an odd night. We ended up doing one series we weren't supposed to. One series got cut short. We spent most of the time fucking around with overlays and discussing a 1 10-second clip. But it was enjoyable. I mean, well, I enjoyed it, at the very least. I'm guessing Haru didn't. Poor guy. That was bad luck. Someone needs to get on Eel and let him know about that glitch. Assuming he hasn't already heard about it. Why is Colorado relegated? Because Colorado lost the relegation game. What was Haru's score? Well, it was 2-0. It was 2-1 before the glitch. Well, no, it's 2-1. Then the first game where the glitch got discounted, disqualified, delegitimized. So it went to 2-0, and it was against Jacoby. So 2-0 for Jacoby against Haru, and we'll apparently continue with them tomorrow, which I guess will be done on Delphius's stream. He usually streams on Friday. It won't be mine. I don't think I'll be able to. I'll try and stream tomorrow, but I might not be able to. Still got a lot of work to do. Either way, that has to be it for now. Thanks for coming, everybody. If you want to find out what's happening with the Harry Jacoby game, I mean, checking the Discord is my best recommendation. But until next time, guys, have a good night. Toodles.